You're listening to Behind the Bulldogs, brought to you by Ferris State Athletics.
Off the left side, to the end zone! Touchdown, Bulldogs!
If I'm even having like a bad day on the course or something, I just look down at it and just feel like thankful that I'm able to be out there.
Making sure that we're like where our feet are and we're not thinking about outside distractions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another exclusive edition of Behind the Bulldogs. We are back once again this week, but our traditional setup is back, Tatum, and we are very excited to have on two special guests from women's basketball that like to have a good time, and it figured, what other better way than a podcast?
Yeah, we got a fun episode for today. We're back, and we've just got some fun things to talk about. I think Kenzie and Mya, they're just great people to have on. So yeah. Absolutely.
And it's a good day as well to be indoors. Filming a podcast because it's horrible outside.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to step outside. I might set up a cot and sleep in the studio.
Yeah,
tonight.
No, this week was weird. I thought all day yesterday that it was Wednesday. We film on Wednesdays.
Right.
I thought yesterday was Wednesday until I realized it wasn't. But for like half the day, I was thinking that we were gonna film. So
yeah, it is weird. So hopefully you guys are staying warm as much as you can, and be sure to come on out here tonight and Saturday as you are hearing this live on Thursday on Spotify as well. Be sure as well, Saturdays you can catch us WBRN at 3 o'clock to get all the Ferris State goods. Yep. Speaking of which, we got games to recap. We'll start with Thursday basketball against Parkside. Women's, very narrow, tight win there against the Rangers. Men's suffer a setback, only their second on the season. Really for the women's, they grinded. They were able to just really rebound down the stretch. It felt like make some plays defensively because it wasn't going in the hole late in the game. Got to the free throw line, knocks down some free throw shots, which was clutch, but the defense down the stretch was really good. Against a team that had home court advantage and thought might make a run, defense stepped up huge for Coach Westendorp and the girls.
Yeah, for sure. And Parkside, they're a tough team. They always bring it. And as you said, home court advantage. Their gym is a little bit difficult to play in. So it was nice to see the women's pull out a win. And for the men's, I think this is like, it'll be good for them. Like they'll only grow from this. And Parkside's a great team. So, we'll just bounce back this week.
For sure. And the Parkside loss, obviously, we've talked to some of the players. I know you talked to Ethan a little bit. It just really felt like watching it. It was just nothing was going early on. Got behind the sticks, so-called in the deficit, double digits. And really, we played 50-50 from there. So you take that as, it's a throwaway game, right? Obviously, it's not saying like, oh, Parkside's not any good, whatever. They're a good team, right? They're in the league. They're playing in the high part of the league as far as standing goes. They're a good team. But it's just one of those performances where, didn't see a lot of bright spots, but the team fought the whole way through. And outside of that early deficit, I mean, they're right with them. It could be a different outcome.
Right. Just wasn't our best game. And I think we can afford a loss like that a couple times within the season. I think they're still in great shape, and I know that they'll fix all those silly little mistakes this upcoming weekend.
For sure. And shout out to Mya. 21 points, 8 rebounds against the Rangers as well. Leading scorer, I believe, was Tyler Hamilton with 21 against Parkside. Another game Saturday. After Parkside, I should say, Purdue Northwest. Parkside, Purdue Northwest, tongue twister. The pride of Purdue Northwest as well. It's even worse. But
lots of peas.
Yeah, a lot of peas. And then ended up getting the sweep against those two teams. Women's get the win, dominant fashion. The men's are able to hold off a crazy shooting effort from the pride. I don't know where that came from, but they just shot the lights out. Home court advantage, I guess you can say. But the men's able to get the job done. That was a nice way to end the trip because it feels like you would rather, if you had to, obviously you want the sweep. You want to take one with you. I think it's the Saturday one you'd want to take with you. Yeah. And I think the momentum really carries over into some big games this week.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always nice to get some wins on the road. I feel like that trip, it's not obviously not as intense as like the UP trip, but it's still a little bit of a trip. And so it's nice to just like leave with a win.
Absolutely. And some numbers from that one on the women's side. Emma Skrbik with 20 points. She was excellent. I believe she also grabbed some rebounds. There's a couple, Mya and Kenzie, both with 8 rebounds. So the 8 rebound club will be joining us here momentarily as well. The 10-point win for the men's team. Leading scorer in that one, it was actually 2. It was Reese and also Nate Clairbout, friend of the show. You can find that out in the feed below, both with 19 overall. Nate as well as Michael Bingham with 9 rebounds. So those are your leading stat contributors. And they're going to have some good games coming up this weekend, which we'll cover that later on in the show. Hockey as well. Split against Bowling Green the first night. on the doorstep, made a massive comeback after just really being outplayed in the first period.
Yeah.
Boy, they stormed back, and man, if we had 5 more minutes, we probably would have taken them to OT and probably could have won it. And then you saw that dominant play and momentum carry over in Saturday's win.
Oh, totally. I mean, from being at the games at first, I was like, oh, this isn't looking too hot, but they definitely came back towards the end. Just a couple more minutes, we would have had them, but I agree that they did bring that momentum into the next day.
Absolutely. And when it comes to this weekend, obviously, we're going to see all the red out folks, hopefully all in force on Saturday, but we need you also on Friday night as well. So make sure to make those plans. You can find tickets at ferrisstatebulldogs.com. Also have some tennis as well starting up. So Eastern Michigan was the first destination, then to Western Michigan playing those MAC teams. Obviously not getting the results that they would have wanted in numbers wise, but at the end of the day, it's a rust buster. It kind of feels like a scrimmage, right? The exhibition format. It's not the same. Like you guys obviously have exhibitions, and we obviously have time trials, and running before we get to the race. You're simulating the environment, but it's not the same. But it's good to see for Coach Doran. And I know, especially, this is what he wants to do. He wants to get the players action quick in the early months of January, so February and March they can start rolling into April. And as well, you got to have a look at what your team is. And for a team themselves, the players want to see where they can improve moving forward.
Right. I think it's just good to see tennis back on the court again. I feel like, I've been seeing them in the weight room working hard. And I'm like, when is their games? When is their season? When is it back up? But I think, it's just a great experience to be playing these tough D1 teams starting their season, and just to kind of see how everyone handles that type of adversity and that level of play. So overall, just great experience for them.
Absolutely. And indoor track as well, the final sport that was in competition. Good to see Bob Eubanks get the rust buster, as it's called. First one out of the way in indoor, and especially with the crazy weather conditions, moving things inside, right? You might think, oh, maybe that's an advantage. Not here at Ferris State sometimes with the rec center. It's hard to get some workouts in and those kind of things with the facilities that we have. So obviously a little bit different training, but a lot of great performances across the board. A lot of top 10 performances in the 600 meters, both on the men's and women's side, which is very impressive. The sprints got out, did some good work as well. Distance doing the same thing. Cooper Sorson in the top 5 now, I believe number 4 all time in the 3K. He's been doing great this year. And so obviously would love to mention all the results, right? I would love to go through them. One of these days we will if we have time. But obviously
too many good ones.
There was too many good ones. And it's a good thing, especially when you see this group. Obviously we talked to Allie and Bryson last week. They're growing the culture, and that's getting the level and quality of practices starting to increase. And now we might be seeing the results, especially from indoor. And ultimately, the plan goes to, a massive outdoor season upcoming.
Yeah, and we're definitely seeing it within the results, like all the teamwork and the culture things that they've been putting into play. And I feel like the track team is very inviting. There's always new people on the team all the time. So the program's always growing. And I think seeing their results and all the hard work reflecting, it's just great to see. I think they're going to have a great end of their indoor and then outdoor season.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Can't wait to see them in action later on here in the next couple of weeks. But with that is the Ferris State Sports Recap. We got a fun interview to go to.
Yes, we do.
All right. We'll send you to the interview room with Kenzie and Mya. Now joining us here in the interview room, we have 2 special guests from women's basketball joining us, Kenzie and Mya. Ladies, welcome to the show and welcome to Behind the Bulldogs.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And obviously coming off of a really good road trip for you guys, 2 wins against Purdue as well as Parkside. Just talk about how that weekend went for you guys as a whole, and picking 2 W's in GLIAC play, which is always tough to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I mean, those were 2 huge wins. We always talk about how there's a curse over at Parkside. That's always a team that they always just shoot lights out against us. They always bring their A game, and I mean, who wouldn't want to when you're playing us? So, it was fun to finally get there and win a tough road game against them in that gym. It definitely meant a lot more this time around.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple injuries recently, and I think that different people have had to step up every game, and I think that everyone on our team is showing that they can do that. Every game is step up and play, and everyone on our team is very important to be successful, and I think that showed a lot this last weekend.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned that you guys have dealt with some injuries already. So what does the rest of the season look like? Because you guys are in the thick of it now, and this is where things get really fun. So what does the rest of the season look like for you, especially dealing with those injuries?
Like Kenzie said, definitely have had to make a lot of changes, but definitely proud of everybody that's been able to step up. I mean, looking at our record, we've only dropped one game so far in GLIAC play, and I think that that's kind of a testament to how hard we've been working and like the changes that we've had to make, and hopefully being able to bring home 2 more home game wins, this next week, and then start it all over again. But I think we're second right now in the conference, and like I said before, I think that really shows like that we've been able to be versatile and adjust to the injuries that have come to us. So
yeah, we have a very talented group, and I think that as long as we keep working hard and just showing up every game, we're going to be fine.
For sure. And obviously 2 big games this weekend, right? We got the Upers coming to town, Northern Michigan, Michigan Tech, both very competitive teams. We're going to expect some good crowds. I know it's Red Out weekend as well, which you guys should all be at Wink Arena on Thursday and Saturday. But what is exciting for you guys being able to play in front of home crowds? Because you've had them in Anchorbone, you've had them in some of these big games, and it feels like you always play better and have a better environment when the fans show up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we have some of the best fans. Like we have such a loyal fan base, and it's always nice to have like home games because they're going to show up. They're going to be loud. They all bleed red. They're all big Bulldog fans. So that definitely helps us and brings us the energy that we need. When we're out there on the court. So these 2 games, they're going to be tough, and the Upers, they don't mess around. I will give them that. We have 2 of our own. So these are going to be really good games to kind of get after, and I'm just excited to do it in front of a big crowd like that.
Yeah, I feel like the UP teams are always a really, really fun stretch of games. We always know they're going to be great games. They're very competitive, and so are we. So, I mean, we're going to have a lot of fans there, I'm sure, especially with the Red Out weekend, like you mentioned, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think it's nice that you guys get to play them at home the first time that you're playing them, a little home court advantage. You guys said that you're going to be traveling a little bit more towards the end of your season. So where's your favorite place to travel, favorite gym to play in? What do you guys do on the bus when you travel?
Oh gosh, favorite place to play at? That's a great question. Honestly, I like playing at Parkside just because they have like the Bear Club right there down underneath the basket. Yeah. So it's always fun to like hear like their fans right there. So that's always probably my favorite place to travel. Or Wayne State, their gym is still like relatively new, and that's definitely closer for my family to travel, so I get to see them there. But when it comes to on the bus, we like to play a lot of cards. We haven't been able to have the best setup, so we usually use a cooler as our table to play cards on.
We bring a box. Yeah, we bring a box for euchre. So
yeah. So we play all that on the bus, but it's always fun to road trip.
Yeah, I agree. I actually like playing at Parkside too. Like you said, the Bear Den or whatever it's called is actually kind of like, it's just like funny, like the commentary they're saying during the game and stuff, especially when we go and beat them, then they're like quieter and like not saying as much, and it's like, yeah.
I mean, that's the best part of it.
Right, exactly. So I like playing there too. I like playing at Davenport. I think their gym's cool. I think that I feel like it's just like another shooting gym that, I feel like we always shoot well there, and we do have a lot of fun on the bus. We play cards. Even us, like if we can't like play cards like with physical cards, like we'll play euchre 3D on our phone just because we want to play euchre.
Yes, true.
Get it.
So
Cross country, same thing.
Yeah.
Always playing euchre.
Always. Yeah, we love euchre.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And a fun fact on the show, we actually talked to Cedric and Q a long time ago, and that was the inspiration for the Sideline Suites. The Sideline Club was Parkside's Bear Den, and so that's kind of cool. You guys obviously cards. Who's the go-to partner, and who's the best on the team as far as duos go?
Obviously me. I feel like there's no question about it. Like, Monopoly Deal, that is our go-to game. Okay. I run it up in that. So anybody that feels like losing that day, they just come and sit next to me on the bus,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I am still relatively new to euchre, so I am still kind of learning that, but
so I was about to say, a 4-0'd you in euchre last weekend.
Oh.
Can we cut that out of the podcast, please?
There it is.
Yeah.
Sure.
My boyfriend is a really good euchre player, and he has taught me very well. So I think I am now pretty good at euchre. So me and her partner up sometimes. I think we were partners last time we were on the bus, I think, when we played against Mal and Caden, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So I think we won. I'm pretty sure.
All right.
We don't think, we know we won.
We're always playing euchre too. I'm not the best at like those types of games though, or that and like Among Us. We always play Among Us. And like we fight, and my coach is like, "You guys watch your mouth. Like this bus driver is never gonna drive us again."
Purple looks sus over there.
I know, literally. We get in like screaming matches about it. But shifting gears a little bit, did you guys play any other sports growing up? What kind of led you to basketball and like made you know and realize that like, yeah, I can play this in college?
So I actually also played volleyball in high school.
Okay.
Loved it. Like it was
What
my
position?
favorite. All around a little bit, but mainly outside hitter.
Okay.
Yep. Some would recruit me to be a libero sometimes, but really, yeah. Outside though was my number one spot. But I mean, I loved volleyball growing up. That was probably my favorite. And then it was just kind of different. I feel like with like recruiting wise, like I mean, I had my first college basketball offer before I was even a freshman in high school.
Wow.
Yeah. So like it's really, really different. So I feel like getting that interest first in basketball really led me here. And I had a family friend that actually used to play basketball here. So I've kind of always been around like Ferris and got to know the girls, got to know the culture really quick. So that's kind of what led me here.
Cool.
I think I played almost every sport growing up. Like
Nice.
I did gymnastics, I did cheer, I did track, I did cross country, I did volleyball, but mostly in high school, throughout high school, I was just doing softball and basketball. It was kind of the main two I did. I can still do a backflip.
Nice.
So if you ever want to see that, let me know.
Nice.
But yeah, mainly softball in high school. I was a shortstop and I absolutely loved playing softball. My mom played college softball, so I think I got to kind of follow in her footsteps a little bit, but ultimately just had a love for basketball and this just led me here.
Well,
I had
transferred.
a mean throw from third base when I was in fourth grade. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and you transferred here, so tell us a little bit about that and like why you chose Ferris and why you transferred here. And, like,
Yeah, I mean, basically just my freshman year being a little bit further away from home. Didn't love that, and ultimately just wanted to be closer to home. And I actually knew Mya from playing like AAU back in the day.
Awesome.
No way.
And I guess you could consider us like frenemies, we kind of would say. And because our AAU teams were playing each other, it felt like every single weekend. And her team would win, my team would win. We were always going back and forth. But
yeah, definitely rivals in AAU for sure. Yeah.
But then, I enter the portal and I have Mya's phone number. I text her and I'm like, hey, like, how do you like Ferris? And she's like, no way. Like,
I was like, we got her.
But yeah, I mean,
consider us friends.
Right. Yes. I come on a visit here and already knowing Mya. I played AAU with Shauna. Already knew, Ella wasn't here yet, but I already knew Al was coming here. And there was just so many familiar faces. And then even the people that weren't familiar faces, like I got so close with them so easily, so fast, just on my visit. And I was like, yeah, those are the type of people I want to be around. And I mean, I don't think I could have made a better decision.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to the memories you make with a team, right? Obviously, you guys have mentioned a couple already. Is there one that you're just like, man, once I leave the doors one last time from Big Rapids, I'm never going to forget that moment? Is there one that comes to mind?
I would just say definitely like any part of last year, our season for sure. I feel like the memory that stuck with me the most is like being able to look up in the crowd during that regional championship game and you could just see like a fine line of red and blue.
I literally just got chills.
Yes.
I literally just got chills when you brought it up because I was at that game.
We saw you guys there.
And like seeing your guys' success last season was like a big motivator for us this season. So yeah, that was awesome to watch.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a very special moment. We'd said like early on last year, we're like, we want to go like all the way. And, as the season kind of progressed and postseason run went further, we're like, oh my gosh, like we can actually like do this. Like we can get this far.
It's happening.
Yeah. So it's just, I feel like just the support that we've gotten throughout the years is just, compared to nothing. Like,
For sure. And that game was very special. I know it for sure, obviously the outcome, but second on the list was being on the baseline and somebody at this table hitting me towards after a layup on the follow through. Kenzie, you remember that?
I do. I remember like going up for this layup, falling over, landing on someone. And I think I was like, oh, sorry, didn't look at who you were. And then I see the video you post and I'm like, that was Brandon. Oh my God. I nailed you. So hard.
It was pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
It was all right. I remember saying in that video, I said, go, just keep going. Don't worry about me. Just keep going. Go back. Play defense.
We were on the bus and we're on Twitter and I'm like, Kenzie, I go, look at what you just posted. And it's just Kenzie just sliding right into the camera.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Nailed you.
Such a great moment. But Kenzie, how about for you? Maybe that moment, top of it, but is there a second one that comes to mind?
Yeah, I think it's hard to beat that one. I mean, that's a pretty big one. And I think besides on the court, there's a lot of memories off the court that are going to definitely stick with me. Playing cards in our apartment and, just so many different things that we do off the court that are just so special because literally these people here are my best friends.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ladies, well, thank you so much for joining us. Final question. I'm sure you're geared up, ready for it. What is your favorite thing about being here at Ferris State and being a Bulldog?
The roommate situation could probably be a little bit better, but just kidding.
She's always got to say something.
No, honestly, it's really just the people that make this place so special. And, I feel like it's very rare that you find a team that you can tell that they are so close, like on the court, that they are off the court. Like what Kenzie said, like these are girls that are going to be in my wedding. Like these are girls that I'm going to keep in contact with like for years. And it's just so special to have that connection with so many people. And this is just such a special place. And I would do it 1,000 times over again.
I totally agree. And not only the chemistry between like our own basketball team, but I feel like just the chemistry among like all of the athletics, I just feel like it's so cool. Like the way people support each other, the way just like I can pass Tatum in the hallway and be like, oh, hey, Tatum, what's up? Like, how are you? And like, it's just so cool. Like, I've been in another school. Like, it's not always like that.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, you're
for sure.
Make a good point.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. And good luck this weekend against the Yoopers.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Big thanks to Mya and Kenzie for joining us on the show. What a blast indeed. It feels like we're just meeting new friends left and right and having great times on the pod together.
Yeah, and they're just great people. They're great teammates. You can tell they just love it here. They're great players. Obviously, we see that. So it was just a really great interview. I hope you guys liked it as much as we did.
Absolutely. And be sure, follow behind_Bulldogs for notification on the show and submit your guests that you would like to see in the chairs to our left, your right. We have had a lot of nominations, so we got some sorting to go through, but it's good when life's difficult, when you have a lot of suggestions.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the people have in store next. Tim Bob nailed it. Well, obviously with these two nailed it, but there was so many more other good ones, and not necessarily discrediting the rest of them. But as far as the viewership goes, we see the numbers, and right, obviously some of those ones have been the top ones so far. Colton and Dom as well. Yeah. So we are excited to see what you guys have in store. Really quick before you go, Ferris State Sports Slate, what's upcoming in Ferris State Athletics? Thursday, January 23rd. That is tonight as you're hearing this release on Thursday. Northern Michigan in town for women's and men's basketball, 5:30 and 7:30 in Wink Arena, and the Wildcats, two top teams in the conference, so it should be a very, very packed crowd and some good basketball too.
Yeah, I'm really excited for those games this weekend.
Absolutely.
Well, kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but I'm really excited for that game.
Yeah. Friday, Bill Klinger Classic. That will be for indoor track. They will be at Grand Valley competing, so good luck to our track and field athletes. And then we'll have hockey as well. Minnesota State in town, a nationally ranked Maverick team will be taking on Coach Dana's and the Bulldogs. That will be a 7:07 puck drop from just across the hall over there in Engelgleben. And then Saturday is the big one. This is where we need you guys the most. Be sure to wear red, donate for women's heart health. We'll have a student rain campaign, and we would love to see all the support and obviously all the fans in attendance. 1 o'clock for women's basketball, 3 o'clock for men's basketball, both of them against the Huskies, who bring fans like crazy. They're going to try and really do their best to try to pack that house so it's more black and yellow. We can't let that happen. So please show up. And then obviously to finish it all out, Minnesota State 6:07 across the hall there on Saturday night. All three will be great chances to donate for a great cause, and as well, more fans, better sports all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, let's just paint the complex red. Everyone show up, wear your red, be loud, be proud, and we should have some fun games this weekend.
Be loud, be proud, and wear red. Yes. I think we should crochet that on a pillow and bring it this weekend.
Yeah, we should.
Maybe give it out.
Loudest fan gets the pillow.
Yes, fan of the game gets a crocheted pillow. We might need I can't sew, so.
I can.
Okay, there you go. She's making the pillow. Okay. So be sure to be here this weekend. For more, follow at FerrisStateBulldogs.com. Make sure you follow the show on YouTube or over the airwaves. Be sure to hit that dial and get that preset. And we'll see you next week here on Behind the Bulldogs. Should be another good episode.
Yep.
We'll see you later, everybody.